the more even Ben has understood my stuff, I'm rarely like irritable, snappy, and I don't have those episodes anymore because I feel so loved and held and seen. Like, what am I fighting against? There's nothing to, if I come up against myself and he'll be like, you're spinning because it's my own thing. And as soon as he says it, I'm like, oh yeah, I am spinning out.
Oh my God, I can relate to you in like every sense of the word.
Especially like, I remember you post something, you're like, I hate being late, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm really late
but I'm always late.
I missed literally, I don't know if it's pregnancy brain or whatever. I missed an appointment with this girl who was coming in on a Saturday to see me for free and do like a session with me. And I just completely did not show up. And I have never done that. And I was losing it. It got into this whole story like I'm so disrespectful and how dare I do that and being hard on myself for everything. Like, and Ben's just like, you are fully spinning out right now. And because it was causing me to be like, his mom was there and I was just being like, kind of like, I wasn't engaging. I was just being like irritable because I was really just angry at myself, but it made me irritated in general. And as soon as he said that, I just like took a breath and I'm like, he's totally right. And once I shifted my energy, by the way, the girl was so understanding and so kind and all the things. I just literally spun out for no reason. We do this all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I was definitely insanely reactive. I mean, I want to say before Noah, but it was really during and the beginning of dating Noah. And I remember a situation so vividly because that was just what I did.
Right.
And I would explode and I would hit sometimes. Like I would lose my shit. And but that was me. And that was how I felt like, well, this is just me. And my mom always says that. And she still says it. She's like, this is me. And I think when you hear that, you also believe that. And I remember a story. I've actually never told this story, and I really hope Noah doesn't listen to this episode. But I feel like it's really important.
Yeah.
Because I was so explosive and nasty. And also felt, very similar energy around like, men, like they can't even like handle this. Like I can do it better myself. Like I was so in my masculine and I have a lot of masculine energy, but I think that's the thing that I have recognized so much in you from where you were to now that you're so embracing your feminine and you embody it. And I feel as if I have too, and I can feel in my body when I'm shifting strongly in that very dominant masculine energy. And I remember just getting really upset about something and I slapped Noah. And he looked at me and he said, if you ever put your hands on me again, you will end up back in Syracuse so fast. Swear to God, I knew in that moment, he was so calm and like stern with me in a way. I knew that was so unacceptable. Like, how dare I think that was okay because of something I didn't like.
Right.
And it completely changed like I want to say response to things because I used to just react and explode. And this is why I am so passionate about meditation because it's helped me see myself. It's helped me see the way that I show up and also own that I still have a lot of ugly moments.
Yeah.
But to be able to be self-aware enough to own it and to apologize and to take it, like something happened the other day and I said to Noah, I was like, please just let me have my moment. Like, I'm upset. I don't want to talk about it. I need to just be ugly. But I don't want to be ugly with you. Let me be ugly with myself. And then the next morning, sometimes it takes that long for me to process. It used to take me a month. Mm-hmm. So to go from, a 12-hour shift from a 2, like, we're getting somewhere here.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. Like, I would let something eat me alive for months, years. And I apologized to him in the morning because I was wrong. And I said, I just let the situation, like, I got googly-eyed and I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about what you had to say. And you're right. And I'm so sorry. And that's truly, like, that ability to be able to do that is what I think keeps you in a healthy marriage for a very long time.
Yeah, to take ownership. Because I think we're so scared to admit, it's so much easier to keep going down the angry whatever path than to sit there and actually admit that we're wrong. Like, it's when I first started doing that, it's scary. It's scary. Yeah. It's just so uncomfortable. It hits your ego so hard. But as soon as you do, you realize it just lets go of the whole situation. It's just like, oh, I should have done that hours earlier or whatever it is. It's just...
Mm-hmm. You soften the edges.
Yeah. And when it's really just our egos that get so in the way of, like, I wrote this thing about, I put a post up like the day before Father's Day about thanking Ben for, I've been dealing with sciatica in my pregnancy. And so, like, later on in the day, like, Ben has to do everything basically. Cook, clean, hand me things when I get super frozen and can't bend over. And so I posted something, I was like, I'm just so grateful for Ben for, like, cooking and, doing the dishes. Like, I just want to, like, give him a shout out because it's a lot. And he's dealing with a lot of stuff for us personally and financially and all that sort of stuff. So he's got a lot. I might be physically carrying, but he's carrying a lot at the same time so that I don't have to be stressed and I can really focus on taking care of this child. And this woman wrote me and she said, can we not normalize, like, praising men for doing things that they should be doing? Like, we do these things all the time and we don't get praise. And, just this whole thing, very anti-praising and complimenting men. And I wrote back that I completely disagree with her. First of all, most men were once a child, and this child was raised by a mother. And sure enough, there are some mothers who royally messed up, and these men grow up to be angry men and, some very bad men and things like that. And I think if you're in a severe situation like that, get out, draw a boundary. But it's going back to having that empathy of understanding where that person who was once a baby came from, an innocent baby who came into this world, just pure love. Like, what must have had to go wrong, very wrong, for this pure baby to become this nasty adult? So that's, like, in the very severe sense of the word, of the idea. But most men just want to be the hero. And I think that a lot of us women who have built up these walls and these boundaries and these things and become more masculine, we love to, knock men off at the knees. And we become more nitpicky, more impossible, just more combative. And men, I once had an ex look at me and go, Vanessa, I just want to be your hero. Because all I would do was tear him down all the time. And then go around going, well, he doesn't pick me. Like, right. What? So when I went, and that stuck with me forever. And, how do men know that they're doing a good job if you don't praise them? And first of all, take away male or female. Like, every human being on this planet deserves praise. Like, we need praise, we need love, we need support. So, of course, I think that it's really important to praise your partner, whether it's a male or a female. It's just because we do the things. If they're not praising you, sure, have a conversation about it. But that shouldn't be like, well, then I'm never going to compliment. The more you compliment them, the more they're like, oh my God, I did a good job. That feels so good. I want to do it again.
That's the way.
Yeah, that's totally the way. And I think the highest suicide rates are in men now. we're taking their jobs, we're taking a lot from them. There's a whole book about it called Of Boys and Men that I highly recommend. And that's why there's all these like accounts now online of like men hating women. Like there's like, have you ever seen them? They're like,
No.
oh yeah. There's like podcasts and stuff dedicated to like hating women.
Whoa.
I know, it's crazy. But I think we're going at it at the wrong angle. Like a lot of us are not supporting men, and men are suffering greatly because of this. And I just think it comes back to just like understanding empathy and having, even if sending love from afar, but like really understanding that we all come into this earth with like this blank slate.
I love that you just shared that. I was saying this to someone recently because having a son has really made me realize how much pressure we put on men too.
Totally.
And like, like when you really think about it, women expect, I don't want to say all, I don't want to stereotype. However, I think men are expected to pay for first dates, for all these things. And I'm not saying, like, I don't know what I believe. I just believe that there should be a partnership that feels like you're both being seen and there's no expectations. I think that's where we go so wrong.
Totally.
And we just expect. And now having a son, I'm like, it's so crazy that like you can't be this has to be like an even partnership. And it's just changed the way that I look at a lot of situations. And, I dated, I think the majority of men that I had dated before Noah, everything was Dutch. And by the way, never thought twice about that. That always felt so normal and just there was no expectation. And then dating someone like Noah who looked at me like I had three heads when I went to pay for coffees once. And he's, he was always courting and taking care of everything to now like really, getting to a place in life where I have my own bearings and I can pay for things and split things. Like it feels so nice when you see your person in a way that there's just not an expectation for them to be the one providing for everything. Like this is something that like you both bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think that's what's been great about, encouraging Vanessa to scale back her practice so she can focus on, just raising the baby inside her and take time off. And that's really hard for her because she also wants to have that sense of purpose, but also have her own financial freedom to be able to do all these things. But that's been a great shift for us, and me stepping into that and her stepping back has been, as you said, like it's a flow. There's no rules. And
I was uncomfortable to lean on Ben because I've been in relationships where I have had to lean on them because I just wasn't, it was before I found my career, and it was just not well received. But I understand that too at the same time because I did at the time put a ton of pressure on these men to take care of me, ton of pressure. And maybe it's shifted now because I don't have that pressure. It's more of like a decision of like, how do I want to spend the next few months? But it scared me to have this conversation with Ben, and but the fact that he's so graciously held space, again though, it's like letting go of the expectations. I think it wasn't well received in the past because I expected these men to do this, and then now it's like I don't necessarily have that expectation. It's more of like a conversation.
And compassion.
Yeah.
You have so much compassion.
Yeah.
Like even thinking about like, that is just something to always go back to when you're dealing with any person, like to think about them as a baby.
Yeah.
And like we all have, like right? Like we're all children.
Yeah.
In our hearts. We were all that little version that we
Totally.
still carry and we still hold. To be able to really go there can just change so many situations.
Everything. I mean, we were walking in Venice the other day, and there was a homeless man that was just naked with his things, and your first reaction is like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then you think, wow, like that person was a baby.
Yeah.
And then like what happened? you know, for in his childhood or after, to have him end up in this, you know, state. And that's when you start to sort of have a little bit of understanding about like who this person it was, you know?
Yeah.
I do also think there was two really important things that I want to mention about your story with Noah, and thanks for sharing that, because there's actually, I think, two really important things. One, you talked about your mom saying, this is just how I am, and how you thought like being fiery and, you know, that's just how I am. I think anytime you find yourself saying that about yourself, or you hear someone say, that is a marker that this is probably your pain body, right? No one is just a certain way. If you say this is how I am, or this is just the type of person, or I'm just the type of person that does this, it's probably a pattern that you have the opportunity to look at.
And break.
And change if you want. Because we can change our behavior. And it's not going to necessarily happen quickly, but if you start to look at it and look into the darkness, which is really hard and it's really scary to see what that is, then you can start to understand it, and then you can move past it. And once you have the awareness that this thing is running in the background, actually dictating a lot of your decision making, you can choose a different path. And that's the path that moves you forward into expansion, and not the path that brings you back to the same place.
And you don't get rid of it, you integrate it. You know, it's not like you just, I'm going to heal and move on, and I'm never going to have an issue again, and I'm never going to have a pain body again. It's almost like, okay, this is my story. I'm fully aware of this. And so now, like, if I get triggered, I'm like, I'm going into the pick me thing, and I'll just be more like, that's so sad, Vanessa, that you feel like you're not picked in this situation, more than like acting out like, you know, a total bitch because, you know, or icing someone out because I feel like I didn't get invited to this thing or what, you know, it's stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still in there. It's just, how am I going to work with it now?
Mm-hmm. And then I think the other important thing that came out of your story was the way that Noah reacted to you. When you had these moments of frustration, blow up, you know, and you would be in this moment of just kind of internal chaos, he let you go through that, right? And he didn't try and fix you. So the reason why it was so important for us to understand each other is because my pattern is to fix and take control. So when she would start to spin out about something, I would think, well, my job is to fix her problem right now. And guess what? It would never work because she would rebel. She would pull back.
You're not my dad.
She would throw stuff. Well, she threw stuff once.
I used to throw too.
And so.
Not just my fist.
And yeah.
Thank God I've done the work.
So. And that probably would have been the demise of our relationship because it just kept happening. And it's not until I understood, one, not only is it not my job to fix her, but I can't fix her. I need, the best thing for me to do is to go over and say, is there anything I did that triggered this? Is there anything I did that made you upset? No. Okay. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And then get out of her way, right? Yeah. And just let her go through a process because her way of processing.
I'm not mad at him, I'm mad at me.
Of course.
Yeah. I like hate myself in that moment, whatever's going on, you know, and that to admit like you hate yourself is so dark. It feels so dark, but we all get there.
Yeah.
And then it's so much easier to be like, you're the problem.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then eventually she works through it. And that happened quite a bit early in our relationship. And now it doesn't happen at all, really. Like once we understood that and
look where you guys are now. You're pregnant, you're engaged.
Yep.
Can you just give us a little juice on that proposal? Because when I was on my knees in tears when you showed up, like, because you didn't expect him to be there.
No, and I think also the power of that proposal is like I kind of became the poster child. I told you, I get DMs, I get stopped in the street, and it's no longer about like, I don't think anybody really knows what I do for a living except for
I
my
want to talk about
clients.
that before. Like, we have to talk about that.
Which is so funny because some people are like, is she an influencer? I'm confused. What is this girl's page? But the people that have been there for a long time know that I've shared most of my relationships, and if not like all since I started on Instagram. And I think I became the poster child for like, I'm now 38 years old, and I have a lot of women like in their 20s and 30s following me, and even 40s, where we have this timeline and we're running out, and just this narrative around all of that and settling, and the fact that like every time I would post about a relationship, I was honest about it. Like they'd be like, oh, this is a great, this seems like a pretty good relationship. And then I'd leave it and they're like, what is this girl doing again? And I was just like, I can't settle. I just can't do it. And I'm settling because it's not the right match. It's nothing against them. We're not a good match together. So yeah. So going back to proposal, I think it just had such an impact for a lot of people because they're just like, wow, like people were like, this girl's just never, it's just never going to happen.
I did not think this was going to work
never
out
gonna,
for her in general.
Never going to happen. Yeah. And I remember one guy stopped me and asked me, he goes, what is it that you want? Because like, you can't do better than the last one. And he's like, I'm so confused. Why do you keep doing this to yourself over and over and over again? I was like, I don't know. I just know there's something better. And he's like, there isn't. And then he stopped. Then I ran into him again, like a year after together. He's like, I can't believe it. Like you did it. You actually did it. Like you inspire me, because he was single again. He was just like, I just like can't even believe it. So the proposal, the fires were going off in LA. I was pregnant, hadn't told anybody. And the air quality was so bad, you couldn't leave the house. I mean, they were just saying like, run air filters, don't go outside for majority of LA. So I just decided with my assistant, Ben was on various road trips for work. And I was like, what if we just work remote somewhere? And I'd never been to Costa Rica. And I was like, let's go to Nosara. I heard it's like a mini LA. They have workout classes. They have healthy food. And we can work via Wi-Fi. So I kidnapped my assistant. And she's like married. Her husband's like, what? And I was like, we're going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks and like just see how the air clears. And so I was there and I was supposed to fly back.
Okay. Cut to, so I was doing speaking engagements, every day or two. And I had the ring, and I had this idea that I was going to propose in Banff because I was speaking in Banff a week later and she was coming with, and I was looking for places to actually do the proposal in Banff, and I just couldn't really find anything that felt right. And meanwhile, Vanessa's loving Nosara, like living her best life. She said, I love it here. We should move down here. And so I'm like, oh, that's a bit of, not really a hub for me for flying, but okay. And I thought, wow, how cool would it be if I did a double surprise and I flew down and I surprised her and then proposed. So like she didn't know I was coming, and I could actually like, she would be surprised that I was there, and then I could also propose because she loves this place so much, and then we could always remember that we like this moment in this place that she loved. And luckily my cousin, God bless him, Aaron Zifkin, amazing man, has a place down there. I called him, he's on board. And we find this friend of his has a beautiful house, one of the most beautiful houses in Nosara with a deck overlooking the jungle and the ocean. And I was like, it needs to be a controllable area. One, because it's my pain body, got to be in control. But like, I'm like, this is a huge moment that I need all the variables. And like, luckily I had some experience because when we did a show like years ago, part of the show was these like helping people's dream come true, basically. And it was always one moment, and you had to film it properly, and it had to be the right, moment. And if you didn't do it right, you didn't get another chance. So I was like, okay, this is our chance. So we had the deck. It was sunset. I secretly flew down. Actually, I can't believe I did this. I actually missed my flight.
Oh my God.
I had to take a red eye. Thank God there's another flight. I couldn't believe it. I don't even want to get into it. So I missed my flight, but I have the ring with me. So I remember the ring. And I get down there and we set it up on the deck. It's like perfect light. And the story is my cousin's going to go pick up Vanessa for the final dinner.
Because we had to leave at 5 a.m. the next day to catch our flight.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit irritated because his cousin was like, we're going to stop for drinks, then go to dinner. I'm thinking like, I need to eat by 6 p.m. because I need to be in bed. I can't not sleep. So I'm like, oh,
she has to get up at 5 a.m. And he says, listen, my friend's having this happy hour. It's an amazing house. We just got to stop by.
And you're like,
I was like, oh my God. So
by the way, secretly, I've changed her flight, which is, I didn't realize it was going to be the most difficult thing to do. Is it's very hard to change someone else's flight if you're not on the reservation. So we Photoshop a boarding pass so that her assistant can say, hey, I checked you in,
oh, wow.
Next day, but she didn't even notice. She was just like, okay.
The level of detail.
And
I know. Also, it just shows me like how out to lunch I am. Like my assistant, literally, like I don't check email. Like she emailed all clients, redid my schedule. Like she did all these things, just like praying that I wouldn't
ask any questions, look at the schedule.
questions, or look at the.
So I'm waiting. Aaron, my cousin, picks her up and her assistant just pop into this happy hour. Sun setting. I'm standing on the deck alone. We got like a photographer and videographer waiting around the corner. We make sure that she goes first. So she's going down the steps. And as soon as she comes down the steps.
I'm also taking my sweet time. I'm like Instagram. I'm like taking photos.
She's filming, coming down, standing there. She doesn't even notice me on the deck.
I'm like literally standing there taking photos. I'm like, oh, view. And like they're right there.
She looks to the side. And
then I was just like, I thought I was looking at a mirage for a second because I screamed stop and I was like, what?
She thought it was someone that looks like me.
And then I was like, wait, what are you doing here? And then like it was just all kind of like hit me.
You got right
fast.
down. You moved quick.
Yeah, because even before when I was getting ready, my assistant's like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I'm going to get dressed up. And I was like, okay. It's like, sure.
You're like, do you?
Yeah. And then I still wasn't getting ready. She's like, don't you think you should like get ready? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like it was such a pain in the ass. She was like, I literally was like, could not deal with you. Like I was moving slow out of the car to get into the house. She was like, you are the biggest pain in the ass.
Yeah. And then she basically, I wasn't sure if I was going to, like I wanted to propose as she was moving towards me, but I wasn't sure if she was going to like freak out and not really understand who I was and for a moment. And then, because your brain, like when there's that type of surprise, your brain takes time to like catch up.
Right.
So your first thought is like, who is this person that looks like Ben? And then it's like, what is he doing here? And then, so it worked out where she recognized me, she realizes it's me, she freaks out, runs over to me, and just before she reaches me, I drop down on one knee. And yeah, her reaction is priceless.
You melted in. That's what I feel like you just like allowed yourself to be held.
Yeah, but the funny thing is like, you think, like at this point, it's like, you think it's going to happen. Like you have talked about it, but there's still that part of me that was like, this is never going to happen for me. This is never going to happen. And so like I still, even like when we talked, my girlfriend knew what like ring I wanted, and I still had this thing like, Ben may never do this. This may never happen. So it was just like a very, it was like a healing moment.
The way he looks at you, I'm sorry. You guys are so sweet. This face just looking at you like he chose you from the beginning.
It's so great. Like I couldn't sleep. Like we woke up at 5 a.m. today and I just couldn't go back to sleep because I was like all my New York memories were flooding back. Just like all the times I would sit in my like, I mean, I lived in some major shitholes here, like big time shitholes. And I would sit there on the floor of my apartment just like sobbing or, binge eating or just, and then all the dates I'd been, everything was like, I was like, it feels like Ben and I have been together forever, but honestly, it's like a blip compared to these hundreds of other lives I've lived, and I've done nothing conventionally. I've never held down steady relationship, job, nothing. And so it was crazy because I kept thinking, I'm like, like I don't take it for granted, but I'm like, oh, I'm here. This is my life. But it's like when I really stop, it's like, well, I can't believe I got here. Like, and it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't just like, oh, this was handed to this girl. Like at 30 years old, I moved back to LA into my mom's house, and I lived with her for 2 years while I was building my business in her back house. And, thank God, yes, she had like a garage space that I could turn into an office, and, just built again, like something from nothing. And I got there, and then I was like, and then I just doing all the work to get to place where I could be in a healthy partnership. It's just, I just think that just doing the work, moving forward, and believing in ourselves, and no one else is going to do it for us. Like no one is going to do it for us. And like, thank God, because I look back and I look at that girl, and I'm just like, you almost didn't do it. You almost didn't do it. Meaning like you love just sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. You loved being angry. You loved having resentment, loved just picking the wrong people off the high, the butterflies. Initial butterflies are often anxiety. Like it's not, when you feel those and you meet someone new and you're playing that game, like, oh, are they going to comment? You shouldn't be guessing. Like, enough with that. Like, it's just stop with that. If you want something stable and steady, then it's not going to feel the way that you thought it was going to feel, probably.
I am so glad you just said that, because that is the number one thing I believe mostly in.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost would have refused like the best thing that ever happened to me.
Totally.
Which was choosing Noah.
Yeah.
Because I was so judgy, and I was so like, oh no. And pushing and thinking that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Right. And then we miss out on something that's like so epic because of this, I don't know, Disney movies, or just like what we think it's supposed to be. But it's that never has worked out for me. And the love that I have now, it's like I get better butterflies from Ben, but in like a different way now. It wasn't at the beginning, but it's now, because it's just so much deeper. It's like, it's almost like this overwhelming, like, oh my God, I didn't know that I was capable of feeling love like this before. Like that type of situation. And now I just also have so much gratitude for what I've been through. I used to be so angry, like, how come I had to go through this and this person didn't, or comparing myself for my pain. And honestly, I wouldn't be as effective as I am in my work if I hadn't, because I've never had one, out of thousands of patients I've worked with say to me, like, you don't understand. Right. Because I don't care what it is you've gone through. We all experience roughly the same range of human emotions, and I have experienced one of those emotions. I've been to the depths of hell and back, and without like going into major detail. And I totally understand. I think that's what makes me so effective in getting people to shift and change and heal on the physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Because, when you come to work with me, I'm not there to, business. Like, we're here to get results, and we're here to do the work.
Dive in with what you do. Yeah. Exactly.
So I do a form of naturopathic medicine. It's called nutrition response testing. So at first, when I first started out my practice, it was mainly about the physical body. So I want to say like 5 years in, I've been like almost 9 years in practice now. 5 years in, and I started because I was living in New York, and I saw a woman who does what I do in Soho who changed my life, and I became obsessed. And I was working in commercial real estate here, and I was like, which was just literally, I got the job to impress an ex of mine, and I worked. He's very proud of me. And then
how'd that work out?
Once that like
I was going there.
Like once that goal was over, I was like, yeah, what's next?
And the high of impressing him.
Exactly. It was like he became my dad. I was like, oh, dad is impressed. Okay, now I'm bored. Can I move on to the next thing? So I was so obsessed with this this healing modality. It just healed everything in me within a matter of, healed. I was told I had cataracts, healed in a week. I was told I had all this crazy stuff going on, autoimmune disorders. So 6 years of being a patient, I was obsessed. I needed to do this. So once I became a practitioner, I started working with helping heal the physical body. So we look for the underlying root causes.
May I ask one question? Was this while you were still on Adderall? Did you see her?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was still on Adderall. No one knew.
For how long were you on it?
My ex knew. So at this point, it was like coming on. I mean, when I started with her, when I went off, it was 13 years. So I'd say like I'd been on for a significant amount of time. And I'd already taken myself off of, like when I was 22, because I was on, when I came out of high school, I was on a full cocktail. I was Elvis. I was taking uppers, downers, in-betweeners, Ambien, Xanax, Zoloft, Lexapro, Adderall. I was on every psychiatric medication you could imagine. So I got off all the psychiatric meds except for the Adderall because it's essentially speed. It's like doing a bump of cocaine, but like in a really discreet, more glamorous way that's prescribed. So I would just pop it like Tic Tacs throughout the day, just 5 milligrams here and there. I'm feeling a slump. I'm feeling bored. Just pop another. And I just became used to that. And no one knew about it except my ex knew because he kind of thought it was genius because I would set my alarm for 5 a.m., take it because I knew it takes like 30 minutes to 45 minutes to metabolize in my body. So I would set, I hope no one takes this and starts using it, but 5 a.m. I would take it, I'd go back to sleep, set my alarm for 45 minutes later and make it to Soul Cycle by 6:30, 7 a.m. to make it to Midtown for work. But the Adderall kicked in by
just the feeling.
I got to Soul Cycle and I was ready to go because I'm not a morning person. I'm not like you two. You guys are the generators. Like I am so like there's part of me so envious. So I'm learning to more embrace my slowness. But because I am not naturally more slow. I'm definitely more slow.
What are you? Human design.
Manifest generator.
Okay.
But I have a million ideas. And I don't go down one channel, and like it's a tough one because I wish I could just pick a lane sometimes. I mean, I have with my practice, but then I'll have, I'll tell my assistant like we're doing this, that, or the and I'll pick 5 projects, and she's like, why don't we just finish one first? So, anyways, so so the Adderall stuck. I went to school. I was still on Adderall. Again, no one knows, and none of my friends knew, nobody knew. And I became a practitioner in LA. But right before I started my practice, I wasn't very active on Instagram. In fact, I would hide. Like I just didn't want to be on it. A lot of it was, again, my pain body showing up on there. And then I spoke to a couple people. I told 2 people. I was like, I'm thinking about going off of Adderall, but I've never been able to do it successfully. So doing like a live journal of it on Instagram. So I did. And then it just went viral. And then it went from there. And I got this huge following from being like the Adderall girl. And it happened overnight. Came on your YouTube show and started doing a ton of podcasts around it and just became known for that. And it was honestly the greatest gift I have given myself because it started me on the path to really tap into what was holding me back, and Adderall being one of them. And it's hard because when you're addicted to uppers like that, which I am, like if I wasn't pregnant, I'd be having multiple caffeine beverages a day most days.
I'm addicted to caffeine too.
Yeah, and I like the up feeling. I'm not a downer girl. So it's and now I have a whole program online course to help people detox off Adderall. And I have my private practice, which is now shifted through my own emotional, spiritual work. Not only do we now deal with the physical to find underlying root causes, so whether it's like parasite or viral, bacterial, food allergy, heavy metals, whatever it is, we're also looking at the emotional, spiritual body because it's just as important, if not more important than the physical. And the longer I'm in practice, the more I see that people's issues stem from the emotional, spiritual, what's lying underneath that's causing them to be sick. So I help people do all of that, and honestly, it's just from my own experience. Yes, my training, I'm very good and very effective at what I do, but I am because I have empathy because I've been through it, and I'm also I'm a little bit more tough love. I don't, I handhold, but in a different way. Like if you're coming to work with me, I'm holding up a serious mirror, which can make people really uncomfortable. I've had some pushback from some people where they get pretty upset with me, but they always come back and apologize because it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable when you start to see yourself and face yourself and take ownership and stop playing the victim. It can just trigger every single thing that you've ever known about yourself or that you've used as a coping mechanism. And while I understand it, I don't have a ton of patience for it anymore because I went through it. And if someone had just coddled me through the whole thing, I don't think I would have gotten out of it. It had to take somebody to be like how much longer are you going to behave like this for? And I needed that. And I know when I have somebody who needs a little bit more TLC than the next person, but in general, like we mean business. Like this, when I train my assistant, we are here to help and heal. And if someone can't meet us, we're the first person to say we're not for you. Usually they'll get their stuff together and come back and commit. I'm there to worry and hold their hand through it, but they have to meet me halfway. They have to be willing. It's just like with addicts. Like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
I know.
So if you're going to do what I tell you to do, and I'll tell you exactly what to do, just try it. Not do the medical tourism, which is also very popular, where you get like 5 or 6 different practitioners in and you're getting everyone's opinion and all of a sudden you're on like 5 different programs. That doesn't work either. You have to choose a lane, and I'm not for everyone either. You got to choose a lane, stick with it, and see if it works. Give it a year. You really have to try one path and then see if that, when it comes to like healing chronic ailments in the body, because normally people get frustrated because we want that instant gratification. But healing isn't linear. It's a roller coaster ride. So you'll have your up days and you'll have your down days. But I promise you in the end, if you're committed and you feel energetically aligned with your practitioner, it will pay off. I truly believe that.
You are so meant to be doing this.
Thanks.
Like just knowing, like when I ran into you on the train, I think you were working in real estate.
Oh, yeah. I was working in real estate just because I needed to prove myself, and I did.
Right.
But I was miserable. I was miserable. It wasn't the right fit for me. I wasn't on purpose.
Right.
And that just shows, like, also, my mom always says, like, the one thing you kind of bump into your life. And I guess I kind of did because, you know, like real estate's her thing, but it wasn't. And so I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I know I can do a lot of jobs, but am I passionate about it? Am I going to be happy doing it? And just like having faith in the fact that I'll figure it out, and then trusting when I found something. Like, sure, it was a huge blow to my ego to move in with my mom at 30 years old.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then like starting from scratch with I blew through all my savings. I was just, but it all happened. I just had to trust the process and just kind of go with whatever was coming my way and stop saying no to things and fighting things, and just because of like where I think I should be.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And I think that's like, there's probably a lot of people that are at that point where they feel like they might want to do something, or they're in a transition, or they've always dreamed of doing something, but there's this fear of the unknown. There's this fear of failure. There's this hesitation to go against the grain or go against their plan of what they should do or what they thought they were going to do. And that's a very real thing that stops most people. But just like you experienced with starting this, if you feel this energy when you do this thing where it just kind of makes you feel more alive, or it makes you feel more like yourself, or, you know, it makes you feel more energized, just try it, just test it, just see where it leads you, because you never know where this can go. And it might not lead you to a new career, but it might lead you to something even better. Like, it might lead you to your true self, and it might transform your whole life. Or you might just find something that you love to do that energizes you so that you can continue to do that for the rest of your life, and then just feel more alive to be your best self in the work that you do. And so at the very least, you're going to learn something about yourself, and then you don't have to regret not trying it at the end of your life, which is what most people regret, is the thing that they didn't do.
Right.
And so time and time again, I see people, they found the life they love, but they had to pay the tax. And the tax is moving through the discomfort of the unknown, and then also looking inside and looking at the darkness. And I love this idea that you are the one you are looking for. No one's, as V said, no one's going to come and teach it to you, going to pick you up, going to show you the way. No one's going to complete you. Like, you complete you. You are the one you are looking for. And you want to have the intention of meeting that person, but that person is just going to make your life larger. You need to be the one you are looking for to complete yourself, and then someone else will expand you. And the same thing goes with the life you want. You are the one that's going to make that happen. No one's going to say, hey, here's the way, follow me. If it's that easy, everyone would be doing it. Right. You have to do the work, and you have to pay the tax. And the tax is moving through the fear and moving through the unknown. But that's where the magic is, and growth happens on the other side of that discomfort, and growth happens on the other side of that fear. And something phenomenal is on the other side of that fear.
I also feel like you never had a lot of like ego when you would try things. Like, I remember you were health coaching at like the Morrison Center. Yeah. Like, you were just, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have like this, I think sometimes we think like, I can't do this because like I want to be here.
Right.
Rather than starting somewhere here.
Yeah.
You know? And I used to teach Bikram yoga in Brooklyn and in the city. And I had so much ego. I was like, rather than embracing the whole process and using it, which at the end of the day became a learning experience in itself, but all I did was just hate on myself for doing this thing that wasn't where I wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm just supposed to like be here.
Right. Well, I think that's what social media has done for so many people, having this lens into everyone's life and seeing what someone's created, but not really understanding the process.
No.
It really is such a disservice to these younger generations, because like, I mean, where I come from, like you work for it.
Right.
And nothing gets handed.
Yeah.
And you really have to put in the work. And I think like the way you just brought that home, Ben, was so perfectly said. Because, I mean, I thought Noah was going to save me. I thought he finally, oh, thank God. I was like, saved.
Yeah.
This rock, my nervous system's regulated. And then I realized when he would leave to go to work, no, hun, like you have to work at keeping your system in a regulated state. And it is exhausting. But it is like, there's just no better reward on the other side. And just seeing the love that you guys have created with each other, and just, I'm so inspired by your story. It's one of my favorite stories. And I'm so excited to see just what keeps evolving between the two of you. And I have an idea. It just came to me very vivid. You guys have to have a podcast together. No, because you're so honest, and just through all, like, walking us through everything, through parenthood and bumps in the road and relationships and therapies you're doing, and that, like, you guys just really share it the way that a lot of people don't. And I appreciate it so much.
We actually toyed around with that, like, when, like, a year in, but then Ben was like, I don't know.
Oh, no, I really saw it. You're going to start it at home. It's going to be.
But then sometimes this is where my brain goes into. I'm like, aren't there like too many podcasts now?
No, because you connect to the ones that,
right, like
with the voices that you want to hear. And I'm so excited for everyone to hear the two of you, because just like the wisdom, the knowledge, I mean, it's so beautiful to see how self-aware and evolved, like, you can become when you are afraid to look inside yourself and to look inside your partner. It's so beautiful. And I just thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting us. And we've been dying to do this, and like no better person to do it with. Like we're so great. We're so honored and so grateful.
Yeah, we were really excited.
Yeah.
So it's
we're really excited for this.
thank you.
I'm honestly so honored, and this was one of my favorites, like favorite episodes ever.